What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more trance. And we're back with some more classic 90s trance, some more melodic progressive trance. And this is a tune by Transa, a very famous trance artist, again, from the golden age in the 90s, if you will, especially like the second half of the 90s. And so yeah, we're going to listen to Enervate. This is a pretty famous tune. It was on a lot of people's mixtapes, again, like 97, 98, 99. It's a 97 record. I didn't get turntables till 98. I don't remember exactly when I got it, though. It shows a vinyl fetish sticker, which now informs a great deal. It wasn't the first shop I started shopping at, but it became my main go-to shop for, I don't know, between like 99 and maybe 03. So yeah, that would have been when I picked this up, but ultimately, again, it's a tune that I think is pretty famous among Transa's catalog. And it's, you know, I think people have pointed out, it's not an overly elaborate tune. It's a relatively straightforward, kind of simple tune in terms of its construction, but I think it's very effective in the atmosphere that it creates. So let's hear it. This is Transa. The tune is Enervate, and it's on Hook Recordings in 1997. $45 maybe? Ride cymbal does mean you could mix in with this part if you wanted, because it's something to clearly keep the time for you if you wanted to bring this in when another track is all the way out. still the start of one. Even though it's not like you couldn't start a track with this mix, or start a mix with this track. But it does sort of jump right into it. It doesn't have like a long ambient intro, whereas that outro is very much, a perfect ending to a set. Nevertheless, I was reminded when listening to it, it does bear a resemblance a little bit to the famous Insomnia track, Faithless. But again, it's much more of a driving trance tune. It's a second half of the 90s tune, not a first half of the 90s track. So, and that does remind me, a good friend of the channel, Sophia, had mentioned it was one of the dance tunes that she enjoyed, so at some point I will come around to react to Insomnia. Indeed, I just got to make sure I have it, because when I looked in one of my music folders, it wasn't there, but nevertheless, I'll see if I can track it down. I know I don't have the vinyl, though, so, there's not a easy solution in that regard. But yeah, like I said, it's just a trance classic. Enervate here. I'm trying to remember, like, Transa, he has a few, like, Behind the Sun is another one. I think maybe I have that record somewhere lying around, but I do want to say that, during the, like, peak of this kind of trance, this was probably his biggest tune. And, maybe on Hook more generally. Either way, definitely a memorable track that I heard at different parties. I played myself eventually, because again, I got this by the early 2000s, and I played parties from like very late 99 to like 03 in the initial phase. Maybe even late 02, I don't remember exactly. Because at the time it was like, okay, haven't had a gig in a while, whatever. And then it was like I was going to punk rock shows a lot, and trying to get serious about college. So then it was like suddenly it had been 2 or 3 years, and it was like, oh shoot, I didn't really think about it. I just was, playing parties, and there were different gaps between them. But then suddenly it was a bit of a hiatus, and it was like, oh damn. But as I would realize, it was partly related to what was happening in the scene more broadly. The authorities were making it harder to have like all-night parties, because they would use fire departments to say like there's a fire hazard here, so you just can't have the party. They would just shut parties down. So yeah, it wasn't until like the late aughties that I began buying a lot more records again, and putting records or mixes online, and developed a bit of an online following on my SoundCloud, and eventually that led to some gigs in the 2010s. So again, it's been a long journey as a DJ, but it's cool to go back and like reconnect with some of the tunes that were very key to me in the initial phase. I am wondering though if this is one that I did react to in the early phase, because I feel like it's the kind of tune that I would have already reacted to. Let me see, because I bet you it's here. No, it's not here. Well, I feel better about that. But ultimately, it is surprising. Because like I said, it was a tune that was a big record in the scene, and certainly when I got it, I would have been very happy. Because, some of the tunes that I did know what they were, it was pre-internet days for the most part. Yes, internet was around late 90s, but I was like a high school kid, and ultimately most of the resources online weren't dance music related, so ultimately it was going to record shops and just looking for labels and tracks, and again, when you found one like that, it was very pleasing. But as I said, Discogs, when I joined it in 04, that changed everything. Then I was able to start tracking things down, and then you start poking around. Oh, okay, so it was on this label. What else is on this label? Oh, never heard of this artist. Let me click on, oh my gosh, this is a tune I've been looking for like 15 years. So yeah, Discogs has been an amazing resource that has allowed me to actually, in some cases, completely unintentionally find tracks that I had always wanted to know what they were. So again, shout out to Transa, shout out to Hook. Do let me know what you think of this one. And from the Sleeping Beauty, Luca and I, we will see you next time. Peace.